Hey y'all, it's a new month, and it's also time for a standoff, so if you enjoy, please subscribe and let's get into it. Sidian and Coral both have debts to repay, both having lost to Liko and Roy respectively at the academy. Chalice didn't even really give Dot the time of day, but here we finally get to see what she's made of too. It's tense because they're only a stone edge's throw away from their main goal. Gibeon's working towards his main goal too, and delivering a senile monologue along with it. He rolls about muttering to himself phrases like, "Journey's end, betrayal, be prepared." It's the energy of, "Okay grandpa, time for bed." Seems like Gibeon's out to get even with Lucius. It comes out that the explorers have had access to Laqua for a while, they just needed Terapagos to remove the barrier and get to the good stuff. So they do have access to Laqua, but not the sealed Laquium, and Gibeon's probably low on supply. You can imagine he'll try and stock up like people do with toilet paper in times of crisis. Dot and Roy have a moment of questioning how much autonomy they've had in their journey, if the explorers have been playing them like a switch. Spinel even brags about how the RBTs were just pawns. Though I appreciated how Liko clapped back at that idea. The RBTs decided to do this of their own accord for theirs and Pagago's sake. Basically, she tells the explorers she doesn't care what they've been up to in the background. Or a Liko moment. Again, Spinel's loyalty to Gibeon is questionable. He's here using himself as bait while Gibeon seizes the goods. Spinel's brought a gimmick with him from Generation 3 and it's a double battle versus Freed. An even playing field without any type advantages to worry about. Umbreon knows Foul Play, which increases power based on enemy attack stat. Already a good move since Freed's Mon should be pretty high leveled. Behem with Psychic helps Spinel's defenses, especially coupled with Umbreon's Reflector. Contrast Freed who's on the offensive, specifically targeting that Umbreon. As well, Spinel's mostly got long range attacks like Snarl to keep his foe at a distance. Moves like Behem's Thunderbolt that he taught likely as an answer to Charizard. Through that, we find out Cap's got the ability Lightning Rod, differentiating it from Ashchew's Static. But I still can't tell them apart without Cap's Cap. I appreciate how Spinel assessed his error. Despite his analyzing, he missed a key point. Freed commands a Volt Tackle, and Spinel shows off how wily he is. He uses Skill Swap to trade abilities, which really nerfs Pikachu. It's the first big brain play in this battle, and this episode's full of them. With 3 out of 4 attacks out, Cap's as useless as the GS Ball. Spinel claims this deductive reasoning was part of his plan, but again I call Cap. He's just adaptable. His new scheme is to target Charizard, but he's not the only one with a plan. Pikachu's got one to isolate Umbreon, but Lightning Rod is no joke. It's the only way they could take these attacks too, since we know Cap can at least blast off a Rayquaza. Freed's also adaptable, having Pikachu use Charizard like a Rhydemon. From the air, Cap's able to get a grip onto Umbreon thanks to that double team distraction. Pikachu's sacrifice is just a theme in this episode. Freed seizes the opportunity for a terrestrialization with Charizard. That new Dark Terra typing spells bad news for the Psychic Behem. In another clever play, Freed lures Behem in range of a Terra Burst like a Lightning Rod magnet. I even thought he used Cap as collateral, but the mouse evaded with its new prediction ability, Telepathy, an ability that Freed had a 50-50 shot to guess correct. I mean, with all the strategy, it was cool to have some risk in there too. All that risk paid off with Cap's unobstructed Volt Tackle on Umbreon. Analyze as Spinel might, there's no data that can predict the outcome of a Pokemon battle. Back with the kids, Coral calls out Screamo, still unaware what this creature actually is. Just a big, pink, glalie, Jigglypuff hybrid. Coral brags about her catch in the Great Crater, but I don't feel bad. The kids could have made one too, RIP Sandy Shocks. It does come out that the RBTs have been spied on this whole time, and I wonder how that awareness will change these group dynamics. Here we get a triple battle which was introduced in Generation 5. Screamtail's got offense with the move Boom Burst, and it does fit the loud and lively Coral that even Garganackle needs protection from with Wide Guard. Coral must be excited about her new Mon to snub the more experienced Glalie for it. In this battle, there is a type advantage and Liko's focusing on it, but Sidian's got his defenses up via Stone Edge. Meanwhile, Medicham's keen senses prevent any hits from Dot. Great choreography too as it darts around and strikes with a mild stored power. It's wild that Screamo's over here tanking the same flame charge that did in Rayquaza. She really is cute and formidable just like Coral. Liko continues taking advantage of Florigato's nimbleness. A swift transition from Quick Attack to Sucker Punch that's still intercepted. Sidian's learned from experience. Dot fires off a volley of Aqua Cutter to hopefully slip Medicham up. For her, this is kind of a simple-minded idea. She's a little off her game. Feels like the Mons are a little off too, looking weaker than when they took on 2 legendaries back-to-back. The kids have got to start using their minds like a Zen Headbutt, which is just what Dot does, breaking up the 3v3 to ricochet the air cutters off those sound waves. That blowback trips up Medicham and allows Dot to get a good strike in. First sign of the tables turning. Flurry gets directed to hop around and disorient them. Great use of the environment. Then in acrobatics, and it's still brutal how pieces of Garganackle chip off. Fortunately for Sidian, he's got Recover, which is unfortunate for Florigato. To disrupt their gaining momentum, Sidian aims to tower above all and terrestrializes. Sweet how it gives this nighttime aesthetic. It gets dark just as Sidian and Garganacl really put on the pressure, to the point of a looming fear of loss. Liko then seems to go for broke with a sucker punch. Gargle evades before he manages to trip it up, which looked like a surprise attack even to Liko. With a final full-body magical leaf, Liko scored another super effective win against Sidian. Roy and Coral continued their confrontation with the Pokemon butting heads. Coral's declaration to put him in the dirt feels like a thinly veiled death threat, but Roy's not afraid. The Gator slips up but uses that momentum to ascend and fire. In retaliation, Coral terrestrializes Screamtail for a sound off. Despite the fierce struggle, Croco comes out on top, finishing a fairy with a fairy-type move. Poetic. It was expected with Screamtail's lack of experience, but the kids do power each other up more than any terrestrialization. I was pleasantly surprised to see Coral not out of the fight. Even Freet's wants to have a word with Spinel, who did admit defeat. Although, before these battles can continue, seems Gibeon's out causing a commotion. What an absolutely amazing battle episode this turned out to be. Spinel, Freet, and Dot genuinely got to be so creative in their plays. Such a good mix of improvisation as well as drawing from experience. In my opinion, what may have been lacking in animation was made up for in strategy. My only somewhat complaint is it makes the explorers, especially Sidian, look weak. He's lost now to both Liko and Dot, might as well lose to Roy too. Heck, Coral's lost to him twice. It does make sense in the name of plot progression, but who knows when the next battle between the RBTs and the explorers will be. And the latter never really got to show off. That showing off is likely going to be held for Gibeon and his Zygarde, who it seems have finally arrived at their destination. If Gibeon gets to confront Lucius, we'll likely get to see the scope of the world-destroying power Laqueum holds. We may even get a battle between Gibeon against Lucius and the RBTs. Although, if Amethio also teams up with the heroes, Gibeon's chances of success feel pretty shot. Keeping all that in mind, I am very excited to see how these dynamics will play out. So, giving this a high B.